Emma is rightly free to disagree with me and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right, and I finally decided to exercise it. J.K. Rowling, man, that lady is a fireball. Alrighty, meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel is coming back to Nexstar and Sinclair's ABC stations. You'll recall that Nexstar and Sinclair had both issued letters to ABC saying they no longer wanted to carry Jimmy Kimmel. He was suspended for a few days, then he was back on the air, got some pretty good ratings that first night because controversy helps ratings. There's no more obvious truism in television or on the internet than that simple fact is that controversy sells. Well, now Sinclair and Nexstar will resume broadcasting Jimmy Kimmel Live on their ABC affiliate stations on Friday night, ending their boycott that began more than a week ago. Sinclair said, "Our objective throughout this process has been to ensure that programming remains accurate and engaging for the widest possible audience. We take seriously our responsibility as local broadcasters to provide programming that serves the interests of our communities while also honoring our obligations to air national network programming." Now, what changed? I mean, presumably, Kimmel did a sort of half-hearted apology, kind of, sort of. Nexstar said, quote, "We stand apart from cable television, monolithic streaming services, and national networks in our commitment and obligation to be stewards of the public airwaves and to protect and reflect the specific sensibilities of our communities. To be clear, our commitment to those principles has guided our decisions throughout this process." So, yeah, them coming back, it's going to be unclear. To me, obviously, that undermines the case that these networks decided to not air Jimmy Kimmel because they just didn't like Jimmy Kimmel, that maybe the FCC's Brendan Carr saying things had something to do with it. Bottom line, however, is that Jimmy Kimmel back on the air doing his usual terrible job. All of this would have been a lot easier if the FCC's Brendan Carr had not gotten involved in the first place. That would have been a lot easier, a lot simpler, because then if Nexstar and Sinclair just said, listen, he gets terrible ratings and our audience doesn't like him, they would have canceled him wholesale, as opposed to the controversy that arose from the muddying of the waters. Okay, meanwhile, Emma Watson lately has been going after J.K. Rowling, the creator of Harry Potter. She's been going after J.K. Rowling because J.K. Rowling has the evil record of saying that men are not women, and this is bad. So finally, Rowling has decided to strike back. Emma Watson had said just recently in a new interview that she was upset. She said that no one is disposable. Quote, "There is no world in which I could ever cancel her out or cancel that out or anything," she said regarding her past professional relationship with J.K. Rowling. "It has to remain true. It is true." And then she said she's grateful for the memories she has with Rowling. She said, "I can love her. I can know she loved me. I can be grateful to her. I can know the things she said are true. And there can be this whole other thing. My job just feels like holding all of it. But the bigger thing is what she's done will never be taken away from me." So apparently, Emma Watson then got some blowback for these sorts of comments. And then she reversed herself and said that J.K. Rowling actually is a treasure. So she's kind of going back and forth based on where the power dynamics are.
I really don't believe that by having had that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have mean that I can't and don't treasure Joe and the person that I had personal experiences with. I will never believe that one negates the other.
Folks, you've heard me talk about CovePure before, and for good reason. It's because I believe that clean drinking water is one of the best investments you can make for your family's health. I even have a CovePure system to purify the water at the studio. CovePure makes our water taste amazing. No sketchy contaminants, just that pure, crisp water. Here's something you might not realize. When people take meds, their bodies don't absorb all of it. A lot of that stuff gets flushed right down the toilet. Water treatment plants are horrible at filtering out those leftover pharmaceuticals, things like antibiotics, antidepressants, even hormone disruptors from birth control pills. You don't want to be accidentally ingesting any of that stuff. Luckily, CovePure is lab certified to remove up to 99.9% of impurities, including pharmaceutical drugs. My wife's a doctor. We don't take risks when it comes to our health or the health of our children. CovePure makes it really easy. It sits on the countertop, so you don't have to get a plumber or a drill or anything. You just fill it up, you plug it in. Plus, my wife loves the tea. CovePure lets you select whatever temperature you want, hot or cold, with the tap of a button. Facts matter. Scientific research proves that tap water is not consistently safe anymore. If you take your family's health as seriously as I do, you should consider trying CovePure yourself. Make sure you use the link in my description box, covepure.com/Shapiro right now. For a limited time, you'll get $200 off CovePure plus a risk-free money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today. So J.K. Rowling was a little miffed about all of this. And so she slammed Emma Watson, quote, Like other people who have never experienced adult life uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little experience of real life, she's ignorant of how ignorant she is. I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own life experience what the trashing of women's rights, in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated, means to women and girls without her privileges. Now, again, that is because Emma Watson has spent a fairly long time going after J.K. Rowling. Daniel Radcliffe did the same. Rowling said that all of those attacks on her led to, quote, death, rape, and torture threats at the time. She said the greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she's adopted because she's noticed full-throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was. I may never have been this honest. Adults can't expect to cozy up to an activist movement that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then assert their right to the former friend's love as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me, and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right, and I finally decided to exercise it. Well, J.K. Rowling, man, that lady is a fireball, and I will say that it sounds kind of like she wouldn't make a terrible prime minister of Great Britain. Like at a certain point, since she seems to be on the reasonable side of some of these issues, it seems like, could she go into politics? Wouldn't be the biggest shock in the entire world. Meanwhile, speaking of the movies, President Trump is now threatening a 100% tariff on foreign-made movies, saying that the film business has been stolen from the U.S. That's not actually true. The reason that movies moved abroad is because Hollywood made it too expensive. The unions made it really expensive to film in California. This has been going on for decades. Film production moved up to Vancouver, or it moved within the United States to states that gave tax benefits. A lot of production has moved overseas. That is because of the outsized union SAG-AFTRA rules that have really made it quite expensive to film in the United States. It's unclear exactly how this would work. According to Axios, it's not clear when or how the tariff would be levied, and whether the burden would be on the producers, distributors, or somewhere in between. Because what if the movie is paid for by American money, but then part of it is made in Europe because, let's say, it is about Europe, and part of it's made in the United States? Like how exactly do you apply that tariff? In July, Governor Gavin Newsom doubled the funding for California's film and television tax credit program in a bid to keep more production in state. So it's possible they would calculate tariffs based on box office sales or production budget. And so what that means is that many soon-to-be-released films would have virtually no chance of turning a profit. So in the end, what will that mean? It'll mean a lot of actors are going to get paid a lot less money, actually. It means that a bunch of people in Hollywood will make less money. So we'll see how all of this works out, obviously. Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Be sure to check out all of the other great content on my channel. I'll see you here next time.